Is that time of year again where we have to pretend to be excited about the Game Awards. The Game Awards, the most irrelevant video game show on the planet that is supposedly ha- getting more viewers than the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, this is a giant cope. This is something that like Jeff Keighley made up, like, oh, we're more popular worldwide than football. In actuality, it's all just a giant grift. I don't know why Jeff is putting so much money and resources into this thing, trying to get it to take off, trying to make it relevant. But you keep seeing this narrative every year that the viewership is like doubling. Like, look at this. Like, 2018, 26 million. 2019, 49 million. 83 million, 85 million, 103. Like, you're seeing a jump of like 20 million viewers every year, supposedly. Like, this is what they actually want you to believe, that the Game Awards is the premier event in gaming when nobody cares about it, nobody watches it, nobody respects the results. Like, again, every single year we have to deal with this nonsense, this narrative that this is some super popular thing that people actually look forward to and tune into and will like authenticate the game of the year. And it's just such a giant joke. It's something that like I've always had a lot of contempt for. It's something that I've been very it's something I've been very much against for the past several years. So like how can you ever take this seriously? They'll have 180 million bots this year. That's kind of my thinking looking at these numbers, looking at like their history, looking at like the reality of the situation because if this show was bigger than the Super Bowl, it would have some kind of like legit cultural impact. You know, people would be talking about it, they would be looking forward to the show, they would be hyped for it, but like the actual audience for this, us, are very ambivalent to this. Like the only time you ever hear the Game Awards talked about at all is when it comes to shilling the new Western RPG, like Baldur's Gate 3, oh, it's gonna win Game of the Year. Like, Elden Ring, it's gonna win Game of the Year. Astro Ball, it's gonna win Game of the Year. Like, and now they're doing the same thing with Expedition 33. Like, this is nothing more than a vehicle to hype up some irrelevant Western developed slop. That's just that's just the reality of this show is that like it's just a marketing tool for non-Nintendo developers and publishers. And as a result of that, all of the far superior games that come out all year long get completely buried and ignored by this show. Or that's how it's supposed to go. Like we have seen a lot of situations in which something like say Animal Crossing was completely ignored by the show and then went on to like eclipse what they were trying to push that year. There's no denying that Animal Crossing New Horizons is far more iconic than popular than The Last of Us Part 2 will ever be. And that's just one example, but every single year we have to deal with this nonsense where like we're told this show is popular. We're told a ton of people watch it and that you should watch it too and that you should get excited about it. And yet, every single time, like, where's the evidence for it? Like, who cares about the Game Awards? It's embarrassing to see how many people try and hype this thing up as if it matters in any way, shape, or form. So that just begs the question, much like with the fake PS2 sales, a video game console that allegedly sold over 160 million units and yet doesn't have the evidence to prove it. At what point are people going to realize that the Game Awards is completely irrelevant, that nobody watches it, that nobody cares about it, that nobody respects it at all? Like, at what point are the general public going to realize that this show is a complete sham and needs to be dismissed and denounced by everyone. Like, we're well into that point where hating the Game Awards becomes mainstream. Like, I have hated the Game Awards since before it technically existed. Back when it existed as the VGX or the Spikes Award show. Like, this show is a complete joke, and yet we are supposed to believe that Jeff Keighley has somehow assembled a team of the best and brightest game journalists on the planet to produce high quality, engaging video game coverage that demonstrates, the best in the industry. And obviously that isn't true. Like, Jeff Keighley sucks. He doesn't play games. He doesn't know anything about them. And nobody in the West does. And you keep seeing this trend of where they want to be taken seriously by Hollywood. That's why they have like Harrison Ford come out to promote the new Indiana Jones. It's why you have like it's why you see the Muppets there all the time. You always have these actors and celebrities that they're not celebrating gamer culture. Like, that's always been like my view looking at this, is that they have this very strong tendency to feel jealous of Hollywood and like how they're taken seriously and how they're respected. And it's not something that they should be doing, honestly. And I think that's a big reason why you shouldn't respect them, is that all of these people would rather be in Hollywood producing TV shows for HBO or Netflix or whatever. And they just found themselves in gaming because they just couldn't make it in that field because they didn't have the talent or the connections. It needs to be expressed more just how out of touch these these people are, and how they know absolutely nothing about gaming, how they know absolutely nothing about our culture, and how they don't know how to produce an award show. Because every single year, this thing is completely unwatchable. It's not interesting. It's not fun. Like, the trailers they announce, you can just watch after the fact. There is no reason whatsoever to watch this show as it airs. Like, you're better off just ignoring it, blocking anybody who starts telling you what won game of the year, and just kind of talking about the actual relevant Nintendo games that have come out in 2025. And that's just kind of the reality of it. The way I see it is that game of the year, game of the year doesn't mean anything in an industry where Nintendo games are played forever, right? I'm still playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm still playing Patent Kaido's Origins. Like, these games are bigger and better than Game of the Year. And that is the simple reality of the situation, is that I am playing games better than the Game of the Year every single day on Nintendo platforms.